Hi, my name is Yajat Yadav. I'm a designer and art director currently working at Target in India in the Brand Design Lab. I graduated in communication design from the National Institute of Design India and I'm applying to the Master of Design in Integrated Design at the National University of Singapore. I've always been drawn to analog mediums and tactility in design. I started by exploring visual compositions, but over time my focus expanded beyond how things look to people to how people experience them according to different contexts, abilities, and levels of comfort. One emerging area that deeply interests me is interaction, not just on screens, but across senses, especially in voice-based systems that are increasingly multimodal and shaped by AI technologies around us. The intelligence behind these systems is quite impressive to me, but what fascinates me more is how the intelligence is communicated to the users. Sometimes clarity comes from visual cues, sometimes reassurance comes from touch, and most of the time silence communicates more than the sound. So tone, pacing, and confirmation are all part of conversational design. These elements define whether an interaction feels intuitive or intimidating. So when Apple introduced subtle haptic feedback alongside touch interactions, it was a small shift, but extremely powerful. It reinforced affirmation and clarity and showed how multimodal feedback can build trust for users. And according to me, the next wave of interaction will be about making systems feel responsive, human, and legible. And because of that, I often reflect on where current interaction patterns fall short. An example of what I would describe as a design limitation, sometimes even poor interaction framing, is how many AI-driven platforms are presented through interfaces that feel structurally static. The intelligence behind systems like ChatGPT or Gemini, it's quite remarkable. They are capable of adapting within conversations. However, the way this capability is surfaced through interface often feels very uniform. For first-time users, especially late adopters of AI, the experience can feel intimidating. There's an open text field and immense possibilities behind it, but very little guidance on how to begin or shape the interaction over time. The system is capable of adapting, but the evolution is not always visible, and the gap creates this cognitive friction. Right now, much of the burden of structuring the conversation falls on the user rather than being shared by the interface. To improve this, I would focus on bringing stronger information design and conversational structure into the interface. For newer users, subtle guidances or structured entry points could make the interaction less overwhelming. On the other hand, for experienced users, the system could surface deeper controls or contextual cues that reflect long-term interaction patterns. It's not about a lack of intelligence, it's about how powerful systems that don't clearly express how adaptable they really are. What I hope to bring to the cohort is a balance of visual sensitivity and interaction curiosity. My foundation in visual communication helps me think about clarity and tone. My exploration into interaction pushes me to question how experiences behave over time. And I bring an explorative mindset, industry experience, and a willingness to engage deeply with emerging questions around multimodal design as well as the future of design. Most importantly, I bring openness to dialogue, critique, and a mindset of collaboration. Thank you.